I think there's some sort of setup with the screen. Yeah, I think it's a setup thing because I don't see it on my screen. So we're going to leave the mouse here. Yeah. All right. Yeah, okay, all right. So we're talking about photosynthesis, right? That was the last thing we talked about. And we mentioned two photosystems. Yeah. Of course, the idea of photosynthesis is that we will generate ATP, not we, but the plants, generate ATP and NADPH, which are both things we need for synthesis, reductive synthesis, using light, sunlight, using photons, okay, and water. And the water, of course, ultimately happens to be our electron source, high energy electron source, and ATP, of course, will be the energy that we need to build molecules. So we have two photosystems, photosystem 2 and photosystem 1, 680 nanometer, 700 nanometer. And basically, the electron, just like an electron transfer chain, will take a path where it's going to be exchanging hands between different molecules. One of the molecules, of course, is the plastoquinone, which is analogous to ubiquinone. And then, of course, we have our proton pump, it's called BF complex. And then we have plastocyanine that eventually goes to photosystem 1. And that also, of course, has electron bonding events that take place until we end up with ferredoxin, and then ferredoxin ADP reductase, and that will give us NADP. And then, of course, we did the comparison, and really everything is almost analogous, 100%, except the sites where the ATP is being synthesized and where the proton gradient takes place. Here's the photosynthesis, of course, and here's the mitochondria oxidative phosphorylation. And then we talked about the cyclic phosphorylation, which is basically if NADPH is not needed, then instead of wasting those high energy electrons, we decide to just keep cycling those around. In the meantime, of course, the proton gradient is still being formed and ATP is still being. So, just as our first wake-up clicker, the question would be, what is our during photosynthesis? Where is ATP generated? Let me see how to start. Start and like this. Here, here, here. All right. ATP. That's the opposite of course, the mitochondria. So where is ATP generated? Yeah. All right. Where is ATP generated? Okay, ATP is generated, let's see here, two answers. Let's see, one of them is A, which is the stroma, and one of them is thylakoid, which is not the stroma. All right, so not the thylakoid. The thylakoid is the equivalent to the matrix of the mitochondria, right? Okay. Now, why do we generate? So the answer is we generate the ATP in the stroma. Why do we generate the ATP in the stroma? Why? What happens in the stroma after photosynthesis? What cycle is it called? Galvin cycle. Galvin cycle happens outside. So we synthesize in the stroma. So we synthesize the monosaccharides, glucose, we synthesize in the stroma, and that's where we need the energy. So ATP synthesis actually makes ATP. What about photosynthesis? Where does the proton gradient take place? Where do we have the proton gradient? Usually that's the opposite of where ATP is synthesized. So ATP is synthesized in the stroma, then the proton gradient will be where? Where do we pump the protons to? Pump the protons to the thylakoid. That's right. That's the opposite. Okay? 1, 0, 1, 0. So that is really the main difference, is the sites. And so it's simply ATP is split. ATP simply is a split. The enzyme itself is split to where it's just spitting ATP outside. Okay? Let's go. All right. Moving on. Chemical cycle. Now that is where we actually harvest the fruit of the photosynthesis labor, which is having the high energy electrons in NADPH and the ATP. And we now build molecules. Here, of course, that happens right here. This is a stroma, by the way. That's where ATP is built. And inside those phthalate where it takes place. Kelvin is the one that discovered it. And we call those dark reactions. And at that point, we introduced the two terms, the autotrophs, which are self-feeding organisms, such as plant, algae, anything that does photosynthesis, basically, and then non-photosynthetic organisms, heterotrophs. By the way, I mentioned something on Facebook the other day that actually deep in the ocean, and I'm going on tangents right now, in the ocean, way deep, I'm talking about miles down, where there is no sunlight, they found out that there are actually bacteria that does photosynthesis. So where is that where is the source of photons? It's actually from the thermal vents have very faint light from the lava. They can actually harness those two photons and make it. And they don't use oxygen, they use sulfur. They use sulfur as the eventually accepting the electrons. So we have 3 stages in the Kelvin cycle. 3 stages. One of them is, of course, the carbon fixation. And that's really when we take that carbon dioxide that's from the atmosphere and we simply fix it and put it in the ribonucleotides. And so that's our other molecule. That's very important molecule. We accept that. Okay? So we have a carbon template, but it doesn't have the actual carbon or the energy. So this enzyme that does the carbon dioxide fixation, is of course the enzyme that we call Rubisco. We mentioned that this has 2 modes of action, right? One oxygenase and one carboxylase. We need to be aware of those 2 and the products of those. And then, of course, this carboxylation mode, which is the predominant mode that does the carbon fixation, that gives us the 2 free carbon molecules, and those are the 3 phosphoglycerate. Rubisco, we mentioned, is the most polymerase enzyme on the planet Earth. Judging from the amount of grass we have, anything green, as the photosynthetic capability, it does have Rubisco. So you can see how this enzyme is really very powerful. The second stage, which is the reductive stage, which is the stage that we are 100% familiar with. So here, there was nothing new. What was the only difference between this and gluconeogenesis? The only difference was the realization of NADPH, right, rather than NAD. Okay? So we'll do some review now. And then, of course, we have to regenerate the ribulose in order to accept more carbon. And, of course, this here is where we stop. And this is going to be actually the underlying theme of today's lecture here and in the pentose phosphate pattern. Those enzymes are truly magic. Okay? We're going to spend some time talking about those enzymes that do this stuff. Okay. Let's go ahead and do some review here. What is the enzyme that's in this step between 3-phosphoglycerate and 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate? What enzyme does that? Okay, gluconeogenesis, that's lipolysis. Phosphoglycerate, non-phosphoglycerate, reversible reaction, gluconeogenesis, lipolysis, and the answer would be B. What is it? What is B? Phosphoglycerate kinase, absolutely. Phosphoglycerate kinase. That's gluconeogenic, that's the kinetic enzyme that does this, right? Of course, how many molecules of 3-phosphoglycerate we have after we do this step? How many molecules do we have? How many? 2, right? 2. That's right. We have 2. Okay. All right, moving on. Another question. What is this enzyme here? Between 1,3-phosphoglycerate and a glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. What is this enzyme? What is this famous enzyme? Glycolysis, gluconeogenesis. Told you there's nothing new here, other than how we simply took this liquid and we put it in this context. And let's see. C is glyceraldehyde phosphate. You have drug in it, absolutely. Phosphate, you have drug in it. Another reversible reaction. Fantastic, fantastic. See, that's very nice. All right. How about this step here? See, I changed the color. What other 3-carbon molecule is needed in order to ultimately go from here to fructose 6-phosphate? Because the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate cannot by itself convert. Let me open this. There is another molecule that we need to generate before we conceptually continue this circle, right? The circle is conceptual, and there are steps hidden in that. So we need something here to do something else after this something here. Now, the relation between fructose and glyceraldehyde and another 3-carbon molecule. What is that 3-carbon molecule? What is it? What is it? What is B? What is B? Dihydroxyacetone phosphate. Absolutely. That means we're going to have to convert that glyceraldehyde phosphate to dihydroxyacetone phosphate. What enzyme converts one of the molecules, because we have two of this? One of them has to go to dihydroxyacetone phosphate. What enzyme does this? What enzyme? What enzyme will give us dihydroxyacetone phosphate from glyceraldehyde phosphate? Enzyme that does a reaction that converts something like some what is this? What is the? These are triphosphate, absolutely. Triphosphate. The isomerization. Isomerization is in the carbohydrate context is going from a ketose to an aldose, and from aldose to a ketose, right? Those are the isomerization reactions, right? What is the other one? Epimerization. Epimerization. That's usually ketose to ketose or aldose to aldose, where we just have that OH reverse. Fantastic. All right. Okay, one more. What enzyme is needed to convert or to combine the glyceraldehyde phosphate and the dihydroxyacetone phosphate to make fructose 1,6-bisphosphate? All right, because now we need to combine them to make glycerol 1,3-bisphosphate. What is that enzyme? What is that famous enzyme we talked about? What is that enzyme? Because now that we formed this, we need to do something bigger. That's 3 plus 3 gives us 6. 6, and that 6 will be by the action of which enzyme? Which enzyme? Enzyme E, which is the aldolase. Aldolase, absolutely. Aldolase, right? Aldolase either breaks a 6 to 2 3s or combine 2 3s to make a 6. This is the context we took aldolase in, right? That makes sense? Alright, so now what we have? We have triphosphate isomerase that took one of those molecules that we made here, and that gave us glucose 1,6-bisphosphate. But in the title, we need glucose 6-phosphate. What enzyme can do this? Glucose 1,6-bisphosphate, right? Because PFK is not a reversible reaction. That's why we need this enzyme. We need this enzyme. All right. Okay. Are we cool? You see how we're thinking about metabolism? It's really, you can just plug it anywhere to make anything. Today we can actually demonstrate that even more so when we talk about pentose phosphate pathway. Fantastic. So, this is where we start. We have 3 enzymes, 2 of them here, and I'm going to talk about the other one later today. Those enzymes really can interconvert. between aldoses and ketones by simply taking a 2-unit, 1-unit, and do this kind of conversion. Okay? They are very flexible, and we just need to understand what they do. And then I can really give you any two molecules, and if you just do enough of the same redundant steps, left and right, you will be able to get whatever sugar you want. Literally whatever sugar you want. Those two enzymes in Calvin cycle are transketonases and aldolase. Aldolase we've already seen. Aldolase we've already seen. Transketolase transfer a ketone group, a 2-carbon unit. A 2-carbon ketone unit. Actually, we call this glycoaldehyde. By the way, the good thing about those enzymes is the reaction themselves you see in organic chemistry. So there's, chemically speaking, there's nothing new. Okay? Actually, almost boring probably. But now, when we talk about the enzymatic complex in the biological system, then this transketolase transfer a ketone group, a 2-unit group, it's called glycoaldehyde, 2 units, so it has to be a ketone. It transfers it from where? From a ketose to an aldose. Okay? That's what transketolase do. Transfers a ketone, 2-unit problem, from a ketose to an aldose. So based on that, this means that transketolase need what kind of substrate or substrates? What are the substrate or substrates for transketolase? If you transfer a ketone from a ketone to an aldose, what substrate does it need? Does it make sense? Are we done? Now, just found out that I can stop this also if I want to do this way. All right. So it needs both ketone and ketones and aldose. Not either one of them. It has to have both of them. Sort of like transaminases, right? Transaminases need amino acid and keto acid. So we need 2 substrates. And all of those need 2 substrates. All right. Okay, so it needs ketones and aldose because it needs to get the ketone from a ketose and it needs to stick it on top of an aldose to make that aldose a ketose and the ketose aldose. Right? When you get a ketone from a ketose, you make it an aldose. You make it an aldehyde. And if you stick a ketone group on an aldehyde, aldose, you make it a ketose. Again, it's reversal thing, just like transamination. So here's the reaction. We ended up from chemical cycle with fructose 6-phosphate, right? That's what we thought, right? Okay. So here, fructose 6-phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, which is another chemical cycle intermediate. Remember, we're talking about the cycle, we're just talking about 2 molecules at a time, but really the cycle basically have moles of those molecules together. Okay. So fructose 6-phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. If you want to do a transketolation, the aldose is which one? Glyceraldehyde or fructose? Which one is an aldose? Glyceraldehyde. So fructose is a ketone. So those are your 2 carbon units, that's a ketone. It will be simply taken from here, plucked here, and placed right on top of this. That's it. Now what happened? 6 minus 2 will give us what? 4. 4. And 3 plus 2 will give us what? 5. Again? Again? So that's it. It's simple math. You move this to here, and now glyceraldehyde becomes a xylulose, a ketose. Xylulose 5-phosphate, and fructose 6-phosphate plus this 2 carbon became 4 carbon, and because it was ketones, now it's an aldose and it's an erythrose. You see why I asked you to memorize those monosaccharides, specific monosaccharides? Because they are part of this. Does that make sense? What happened in transketolation? So now we have a xylulose. Xylulose is a 5-carbon sugar. But what do we need to regenerate in the Calvin cycle? What was it? The 5-carbon sugar that we need to regenerate in that DNA. Which one? Ribulose. That's right, ribulose. So we're not in ribulose yet, right? But xylulose is a ketose as well. Okay. Let's keep this a little bit here. Aldolase reaction. Aldolase reaction. What's the function of aldolase? Does it combine aldolase and a ketose to make a ketose? Or does it combine an aldose and a ketose to make an aldose? Or does it break down a ketose to produce an aldose and a ketose? Or A and T? Or is it both B and T? Which one do you think is that? Aldose. And aldose. Okay? That's what we're familiar with from glycolysis / gluconeogenesis. Which one is the answer, I wonder? All right, my goodness. My goodness. I'm just impressed with those 10 people. All right. Okay? So it does both. Either combine 2 3s to make a 6, or breaks a 6 to make 2 3s. Okay? But they have to, the combination of the 2 3s, one is aldose, one is ketose. To make a ketose. Yes, ma'am. Say it again. No, aldolase. The one we have is fructose 6-phosphate. Fructose 1 in the glycolysis. Aldolase. Now you went heavily and probably you read about trans-aldolase, didn't you? Yes. See, that's a problem for reading ahead. No, that's not a problem. You're good. So aldolase either combine 2 3s to make a ketose, or breaks a ketose to make an aldose. Okay? So that's cool. This is just a review. Any questions? Cool? Okay. All right. So now, this is aldolase right here. We made an erythrose from that previous reaction. Remember erythrose? So we took erythrose, and which is an aldose, and we had dihydroxyacetone phosphate, which is a ketose. We simply combine them. So here we have 4 plus 3 gives us what? 7. We made a 7-carbon molecule, pseudohydrolase. Okay, now I don't want you to really worry about the structure of pseudohydrolase very much. Okay? It's a 7-carbon molecule, you know that. All right? And we need to break it. If you break 7-carbon molecule into 2, you're going to end up with what? 4 and 3, right? Or 3 and 4, right? If you break it this way, I mean, not 2 and 5. Okay? So this reaction here combined those and gave us pseudohydrolase. Now this reaction is a phosphatase, just to make it a single phosphate molecule. All right? So now we want to break this. And to break it, we're going to need to pluck this 2-unit ketone unit and put it somewhere else. What enzyme that does that? Trans what? Transketolase, right? The one that's similar to the one before. So now, so you need to recognize, if I give you this reaction without the boxes, you should tell me, okay, this is obviously a transamination reaction. Or this is, yeah. Those are the intermediaries, central intermediate metabolic pressure. You need to be able to. Again, you will not throw anything that you will have to write. Yes, ma'am.
Will you expect us to just know it from the structure, or will you have?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the structure without the box, if you look at it, you know that this moves to here, right? Without the names. Without the names? Well, except for the pseudohydrolase, what new names do we have here?
I think she's asking, is it going to be like a quiz where you have no names, just the structure?
Yeah. The quiz is our cue for the exam. The quiz and of course the clinical questions. Okay? Any other questions? Okay. All right. So now we've seen how self-feeders do it. Okay? And how we can take advantage of that. So this is basically the transketolation, aldolation, transketolation reactions that give us eventually a 5-carbon unit. So the idea of those conversions is to produce a 5-carbon saccharide that will eventually be isomerized or trimerized to ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate in order to continue our carbon fixation. So now we're going to go to pentose phosphate pathway. Plants do pentose phosphate, but we also do pentose phosphate pathway. Pentose phosphate pathway is very important, extremely modular. This is actually one of the things that can make you admire pentose phosphate pathway, that is extremely modular. It has 2 stages, and we can use the 2 stages along with any part of the metabolic pathway that we study in order to do anything we want to. It's amazing. Amazing. So hence, do not think of metabolism as a linear pathways only. Think of them as pieces that you can put together any way you want to. All right. Why pentose phosphate pathway? Well, fatty acid biosynthesis, nucleotide biosynthesis, cholesterol biosynthesis, neurotransmitters biosynthesis. All those important molecules that the powder cannot give need the pentose phosphate pathway, because they will provide us with electron power in the form of NADPH. Okay? This is the only way we can make NADPH with pentose phosphate pathway. We cannot photosynthesize. So we need those reductive electrons in order to give us reductive synthesis. What else? What else? Detoxification pathways. Important, very important. As a matter of fact, what did we, we already know that with the free radicals. What do we do with the free radicals when they form in our bodies? We have to reduce them. Yeah, Kevin, we have to reduce them. We need an electron to reduce them to render them neutral. And the source of those electrons will be an NADPH. And the source of NADPH in our body is pentose phosphate pathway. That's the only source of NADPH. There's one half source we put about there. Not two. Okay. All right. We have two stages here. We have the stage of making NADPH. That's called the oxidation stage. And then we have non-oxidative stage. And that is something that you're already familiar with by now. Actually, 5 minutes ago, you were familiar with it. And that's the conversion stage, which is also going to require the transcarbylation and, as some of us suggested here, transaggregation. Okay? So, familiar reactions. Here first, and let's go a little bit back to also, as we talk about this, let's keep the memory of glycolysis gluconeogenesis present as we talk about this. All right, here is our glucose 6-phosphate. Our glucose 6-phosphate comes to us from where? Hexokinase, glycolysis, hexokinase is the enzyme. And what else? What other enzyme does that? Glucokinase, right? Glucokinase is the other enzyme in the glucose 6-phosphate. And each one kicks in when there's a different things happening. If we have a lot of glucose and glucokinase is not active, then glucokinase kicks in and gives us glucose 6-phosphate. So glucose 6-phosphate we just mentioned during glycolysis, that can go to glycogen storage. We can make glycogen out of it. We also can make this out of it. So we have now 3 fates for glucose 6-phosphate. Glycolysis and glycogen synthesis. We'll be talking about that later, not today, but also pentose phosphate pathway. And this is the oxidative part that goes from glucose 6-phosphate to those wonderful molecules that eventually give us that lactonate or that NADPH. This is the reaction that takes us from glucose 6-phosphate to the lactonate. Okay? So those are the 3 reactions. 1, 2, 3. And notice those reactions, the hydrogenase and the dehydrogenase. That means there's an electron exchange going on, and that electron exchange is what will give us the NADPH. All right, so first reaction is glucose 6-phosphate, 6-phosphogluconolactone. Notice that this became a ketone-like derivative. Okay? The enzyme is glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase. And here's our first NADPH. Gluconolactone is rearranged by lactonase arranges lactone, and gives us 6-phosphogluconate, which is carboxylic acid, and to be actually oxidated, carboxylated to ribulose 5-phosphate. So we have our NADPH, and we have a carbon dioxide that flew off. This carbon dioxide is gone. And we have our pentose, ribulose 5-phosphate. 1 mole of glucose, 2 moles of NADPH, and 1 ribulose 5-phosphate. Oxidation, hydration, oxidation. Where have you seen this motif? Oxidation, hydration? They start in metabolism. You've seen this? Citric cycle? Which part of the citric cycle? The last 3 reactions to regenerate what? Oxaloacetate, right? Oxaloacetate. Oxidation, hydration, oxidation. That is the theme of the oxidative part of pentose phosphate pathway in order to give us the NADPH and pentose, which is a ribulose. Actually, it's a ketone, ribulose 5-phosphate. Now, ribulose 5-phosphate, just like what happened in Calvin cycle, can be converted to all kinds of stuff. Now, why do you think this is important for nucleotide metabolism? The one that has the nitrogenous base is attached to a pentose. Why? Because it produces pentoses. Ribulose can be converted to ribose, can it? Can it not? What is the connection again between ribulose and ribose? Isomerization. So that can be converted very easily to there. All right. That's ribulose and ribose. These are the same slide we just talked. So we can generate also riboses from it. We can synthesize it in this way in our bodies. We can also eat it, by the way. We can have it as a food source, but we can also generate it. So let's talk about the interconversion reaction. Transcriptase, we already know what transcriptase does, right? It transfers a ketone unit, a 2-carbon ketone, from whom? From a ketose or from an aldose? Ketone group is a transfer from a ketose or from an aldose? From a ketose, because it's a ketone group. Aldose doesn't have a ketone. Can I give you that, right? So that's what ketose does, and we end up with glycerolide and pseudohexulose. And then here is the transfer, see, ketone, you know, aldose transfer a 3-carbon unit. Transketolase transfers 2-carbon unit. All right. So basically, what do we end up with after conversion? Fructose, right? Fructose is phosphate. Also, we have glycerolide to phosphate, don't we? So we generated fructose and glycerolide from the interconversion steps. Okay? Let's at least, for now, let's take this take home message. We can generate from the interconversion fructose and glycerolide. Both are glycolysis / gluconeogenesis pathways. Okay? So now, okay? So now, let's see how modular this is. Let's see how the body actually can utilize parts of metabolic pathways, because the body doesn't really recognize something such as something silly as a pathway. It doesn't recognize that. It recognizes reactions and can use the reactions any way the body needs it. So here is a scenario in red that says, what if the cell or the cell doesn't need an NADPH? Let's say we do not need an NADPH. Okay? We do not need a reducing power, but we need ribose. We just need ribose because our cells are growing and they're dividing, so they need a lot of nucleotides, DNA and RNA for replication transcription, and hence it will need an ADPH. I mean a ribose. Okay? So what do we do? First of all, what's the only source of ribose for us? Metabolically speaking, is the pentose phosphate pathway. Okay? But again, we do not need an ADPH. So why do the oxidative part of the pentose phosphate pathway? Let's just do the interconversion part. But where are we going to get the molecules from? Well, from glycolysis. Glycolysis gives us fructose and gives us glycerolide. And then interconversion, we already see that it's interrelations between those two sugars. So if we can take those two sugars here, we can generate ribose easy by transcriptase and transalphalase. Does that make sense? Transcriptase and transalphalase, they can interconvert this stuff together, right? So we just can generate fructose and glycerolide, and that will give us the ribose. Okay? Again, transcriptase and transalphalase can give us any sugar we want: a pentose, a hexose, an aldose, or a ketose. So since that's what we need, we can take, that's why I underlined the fact that the two metabolic pathways have those intermediates in common. Yes, ma'am? No, that's an us too. See? All of a sudden we are worth something, metabolically speaking. All right. So those are the two pathways. Okay. So this is an interconversion, and that's by simply taking the glycolytic intermediates into doing this. We don't even need to generate energy. We don't need ATP. So we just stopped at the first stage of glycolysis. See how glycolysis doesn't have to be followed all the way down. The cell needs both NADPH and ribose. What pathway does that? NADPH and ribose. Which one does it? We'll just talk about it. So that's very simple. We need both reducing electrons and ATP. Then we need pentose phosphate pathway. Both reductive or the oxidative stage, and then a conversion stage. So there's nothing wrong here. Okay? We go from glucose to phosphate, we generate ribose, ribose phosphate then can be converted into with the magic bumps of the two enzymes, transcriptases and transalpalases. Okay, what about if the cell needs NADPH, but it doesn't need ribose? We need reducing powers to synthesize that, but we really do not need ribose. What gives us only NADPH? Which stage of the phosphorylated? The first or the second? The first, oxidative. So we can do that. We can do that, and that will give us ribose. We'll stop at ribose. Then ribose, while gluconeogenesis is going, see now, we went straight to gluconeogenesis, we can use the glyceride and the fructose to do those things in a converted there. So we can actually take that ribose and suck it into fructose and keep building glucose rather than going into the glycolytic pathway. And so we don't need energy. So gluconeogenesis will actually save this carbon skeleton and give us more bigger monosaccharides. The pathway we end up with ribose. Ribose can be converted, of course, to fructose, and fructose can undergo glycolysis, and of course glycolysis, as we already know, gives us always energy. And so you can go from there. So you see how the two pathways can interact together? You can take reactions from there. Just need you to think about it. It's a very logical thing. See what is the purpose of each pathway, or each bunch of reactions, and then just take them and build anything you want, based on whatever you need. Okay? Because each one does certain things. All right, was that the four scenarios we covered, by the way? The four modes. Okay? They're also in your book, of course, and they're here. Any questions about this? Okay, let's sleep on it. And hopefully tomorrow we'll have another quiz about this. Okay, one more fate. Somebody stood up there. I recognize you, sir. Just want to say hi? Hi. Let's talk a little bit about glycogen metabolism. Our third fate for glucose. Glucose to glycogen. Glucose to glycogen. So, I can't stop smiling now. Basically, what's going to happen, we're going to convert glucose to glycogen. We need to know that. And this is just a review slide of what glycogen and starch look like. And what kind of bonds we need to form. Those are the alpha bonds for us. Of course, we're going to just slightly go to the plants and see what the plants can do. What the plants can do. They can actually form the beta, which we cannot form. So, what we're going to talk about, and first thing tomorrow, is how we can make the starch, and what enzyme and intermediates we need, and how we can make glycogen, and we do this. But now we have three fates we need to know. You can stand up now. All right, I'm done. Let's leave it. Let's leave it. Since everybody's excited. Is that going on today? Is that party going on today? Is it on? All right.
What's up? I have these for you. I made copies of.
Good things for the 2 days?
Yeah. And this is for my daughter and that was for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ciao.
How's it going?
Fine.
I wanted to see for me either today or tomorrow at 5.
5. You see the exam?
Yeah, I'm sitting there and I think I have a question now. Right now? 5, yeah.
What about tomorrow?
5 to.
So there's no way you can go to the place, right? Okay, so then I'm going to have to bring the exam. I can meet you, but the problem is not here. Okay, so the rest of it tomorrow.
Here?
Not here.
It's going to be right after class. I can do like right after class.
No, we can go. Alex, at 5 o'clock. I'll wait for you.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. What's up?
I'm in class writing.
Alrighty.
I've written to you, but I got a receipt. Is that okay? Can I have the time?
Receipt of what?
Where I was.
Where were you?
Thursday.
Alright, I'll take it.
Okay? Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.